Alphaville authorities continue to deny false rumors that Alphaville elites are planning to evacuate to Mars. True or not, the one thing we can't deny is that the world ended on a sunny day.
The world ended on a sunny day.
Damagog Studio is taking a slightly different approach to game development. What you just heard and saw were snippets of the interconnected world which they've been building their games around. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the studio's two upcoming games, Highwater and The Cub, and show you a sneak peek into their unique game world design. The team's approach to game development centers around constellation storytelling. This concept is all about telling stories through non-linear media with a focus on gaming. That is to say, Damagog isn't just a game studio. They've released animated music videos, real-world art installations, and music that tells the story of their world without even requiring you to play a single one of their games. For my fellow visual learners, here's a simple chart to illustrate the idea of constellation storytelling that was presented by one of the developers at a game conference. As this video progresses, I'll go into more detail about Damagog Studio's games, radio, and videos in order to give you a better picture of the stories they aim to tell in their unique world. And before I talk more about the two upcoming games I mentioned in the title, we need to travel back in time.
Take a moment, relax, and remember with radio nostalgia from Mars.
The year is 2018. Golf Club Wasteland was released on mobile. After creating a few test games before this, the team at Damagog was ready to present a first glimpse of this barren and beautiful world that they'd created to the public. It received high praise, and the game was released on PC 3 years later. Through a blend of audio and visual storytelling, the player learns about the great ecological catastrophe that forced those who could afford it to move to Mars. Everyone else on Earth died. Set sometime in the future, citizens of Mars take flights back to Earth to play golf in the ruins of civilization. Although it's a short experience, the game has a clear vision of the world our character is exploring and the stories it has to tell. This game was their first dive into the transmedia format, where they combined games, videos, and music. Yeah, I know pretty much every game has music and video trailers, but this is different. The goal of Golf Club Wasteland was to introduce people to this barren and desolate world by allowing us to piece together the full story of how humanity fell through on our own. The game is essentially narrated by a radio host and the music they play, which gives us glimpses into the not-so-glamorous life on Mars. The station caters to the citizens of Mars, nostalgic for Earth as they listen to music from the 2020s and dial in to share their memories of the planet. It sounds like maybe escaping wasn't the best option.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. It's been a pleasure to take your hand. And remember, no matter how cramped and stuffy we feel, there's always a breath of fresh air in our memories of blue skies.
Remember when I said everyone on Earth has died? Well, that might not be the whole truth.
Blue skies, warm days, the long-lost summers of our past on Earth. Will we ever return? Stay tuned for more on that.
This is The Cub. A continuation of Golf Club Wasteland, The Cub begins when a research mission revisits Earth and spots a human-like mutant kid. They begin to track this cub, which will lead us to many fast-paced, heart-pounding chases. This game is a difficult 2D platformer that has you parkour through the remains of humanity, outwit dangerous wildlife, and stay one step ahead of the humans who are hunting you. While traversing the vibrant post-apocalyptic world, the Cub wears a Martian helmet that plays radio nostalgia from Mars. Much like Golf Club Wasteland, the story and clues of how and why humanity fell are sprinkled throughout the world. Crumbling brutalist tower blocks and abandoned genetics labs, depleted chemical mines, and overgrown battlefields. Each level has a story to tell. There is a demo for this one if you want to check it out, but we don't have a release date yet.
The most vivid memory I have is standing alone, watching the shuttles leave, evacuating you to Mars. Those left behind started to turn on each other.
We'll learn more about that when we play Highwater, which was announced back in June and is set to release in December 2022. Unlike the first two games, this one takes place before the rich elite escape to Mars. Highwater is a story-driven 3D adventure game with isometric turn-based combat set in a flooded world. We'll be guiding Nikos and the friends we make during our journey as we travel to Alphaville in an attempt to sneak onto a rocket escaping to Mars. Highwater seems to have the biggest scope of the three games I've touched on so far. We'll be able to freely drive our boat to different islands as we collect resources and meet the citizens of the end of the world. If you've made it this far and have been paying attention, you might have noticed some themes that are present through all three of these games. First up is the music.
Radio nostalgia from Mars.
You're tuned to Radio Nostalgia from Mars. Breathe easy, kick back, and reminisce.
Radio Nostalgia from Mars is the radio station that plays throughout Club Wasteland and The Cub when our character puts on this space helmet. The music is retro future, from a time just before the Great Climate Catastrophe and sometime after the Ultra Elite's arrival on Mars. Music and memories from the last days of Earth. A few of these songs are brought to life by a set of 3 animated music videos, which I've scattered clips of throughout this video. The use of these songs and their lyrics to tell the story of life on Mars is an absolutely genius way to make this multimedia project come alive. The music videos are presented as a series of vignettes and don't give us a full narrative story. This is done to allow us to discover this world in our own way and on our own time. One last element used to tie Damagog Studio's games together are the pink neon signs on top of ruins. Many of them are clever puns and play on words designed to make players reflect on corporate greed and the current climate crisis. For example, Third World Organic is a supermarket chain that shows up in both Highwater and The Cub. They've even created an exhibit to display these signs in real life. It's the small details like this that have put Damagog Studio and their upcoming titles on my indie game radar. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and go show this team some love by wishlisting their games. Stick around for more updates on this beautiful post-apocalyptic universe and check this out while you're waiting.
Please stand by for next transmission in 5 seconds.